Hello, my name is Sushma and we are going to talk about a topic that you probably already know a lot about. But I just wanted to say it anyway. And the question here is, should I be consuming genetically modified foods or foods made from genetically modified grains? I see a lot of children with a lot of difficulties related to environmental toxins. And one of the toxins is vaccines. We have environmental pollutants, but some of the biggest culprits here are genetically modified foods that are made in a way that impairs gut health, that causes toxic matter to go from the gut into the blood, from the blood into the organ systems, from the organ systems, from the blood into cerebrospinal fluid, into the lymph, and into the brain. So there's 3 types of genetically modified foods that you want to avoid. And a lot of people who get off of grains, for instance, feel a lot better. And my general sense is it's not just because they're gluten intolerant. It is also because a lot of the grains, the seed oils, the grains, etc., are made from GMO seeds. So there is GMO seeds that are Roundup ready. So there's one type of genetic modification that takes the seed, modifies it so that it is not susceptible to the herbicide Roundup and its brothers and sisters. So what the farmers can then do is they can buy this special seed. It's going to be impervious to the herbicide, meaning it will not die. It'll continue to produce corn or soy or wheat or whatever. And you can blitz it with Roundup and kill off the surrounding broadleaf weeds without destroying your crop. The problem with that is twofold. It's a twofold problem. The first problem is by genetically modifying that seed, one genetic modification results in 1,600 mutations in the genome of that seed, meaning there's a lot of collateral damage that causes untold and unforeseen and unforeseeable problems in the plant and in your gut when you ingest it. So that is problem number 1 from Roundup ready genetically modified corn. The second problem is that the plant is soaked in Roundup. They soak the plant from seed to harvest with a number of sprays of Roundup or other herbicides, name your herbicide, and what that's doing is giving you a double whammy. So now you're getting a poison with that seed, and you're also getting the genetically modified components of that seed. There's something called microRNA, which is the material that comes out of the DNA and then into the RNA of the plant that talks to our genome. And what this microRNA does is terrible things. It's either gonna expose your oncogenes instead of suppressing them, and it'll cause genetic mayhem in the body that ingests this food. So the genetic component, the genetic modification component, is actually far more dangerous for human beings, for children who have asthma, allergies, disorders related to mental development, ADHD, and so on. And compound that with vaccines, and you have a cocktail of gruesome poisons. So that's number 1 genetic modification. The second type of genetic modification is modified to withstand pesticides. And this is even worse. So now what you're doing is you have genetically modified this plant, which is releasing microRNA, which is talking to your body and creating long-term chronic disease. In addition, you are now able to blitz this plant with pesticide. It will kill off the pests and get soaked up through the plant into you. The way these pesticides kill their pests is by causing them to literally explode or their nervous systems to get demyelinated. So now you have a little child or a frail elderly person exposed to delaminating pesticides that literally cause their guts to explode. So these are the genetic modifications that allow for pesticides to either be created by the plant or for the plant to be resistant to pesticides and for those pesticides to cause huge, immense damage in the humans that consume these foods. And so this is, and then now they have RNA vaccines, which we will talk about at a later point. And so between the genetic modification for Roundup, which is broadleaf herbicide, the genetic modifications for plants that generate pesticides, so now humans are ingesting pesticides, you have a huge risk to the gut, to the human body, and to your children's health. So it behooves you to seek labeling in your state, wherever you are. It behooves you to avoid anything genetically modified. It behooves you to buy seeds that are not hybridized or genetically hybridized or genetically modified in any way, because a lot of ill health is going to result and continues to result from that. Families that have converted from GMO foods to non-GMO foods feel better. Families that were seed intolerant, soy, corn, canola, wheat, once they started eating foods that were organic and not genetically modified, had very good results. And so those are the key things you want to think about when you think about the dangers of genetically modified foods. They cause random mutations in the cells, the DNA of the plant, that are extraordinarily difficult to predict and extraordinarily dangerous. And there are several European scientists that have done tests. There's Seralini that's worked with Roundup ready corn and wheat and soy. There was another scientist in the UK who was pilloried and almost got kicked out of his job for doing analysis on plant lectins that were caused by genetic modifications, and the rats just died. So I would urge you to think about genetic modification in the foods that you eat. I would urge you to eat organic. It is a little bit more expensive, but think of it as a health care cost rather than a food cost, and it'll suddenly seem a whole lot cheaper. So here's to your good health, and enjoy your next organic meal that you cook from scratch, and I hope you have good health. Thank you.